right, here's what we're going to do.
Quiet.
Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to get the meeting started, report, and I'll leave. Mr. Harry will take over. Bobby will come down. No more intent. I called the health board today, and they gave me an update on everything. They have a meeting tonight with their task force or whoever, and you'll be able to find out about swimming pools, different opening and stuff. You probably know about this here.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, she told me today that they have a meeting tonight with their task force or the group of medical people. She said they're real good people, and you know, about swimming pools and other events, how they can do it, and we'll take it from there. So, but that's how we're going to work. No more than 10. They told me no more than 10, 6 feet apart. You know, so we'll take it from there.
Do we have a flag down here? Do we have a flag down here?
No. There used to be one in the corner.
Oh, there's a picture of one. Yeah, there were places we got down here.
Good chair. I don't even get there. Once you saw
Oh, no.
What's today, 28th?
You're safe distance.
Yeah.
I'm out of it since I'm not working.
I don't know what day
It's like
it is.
every day Saturday.
You're right.
Sure we have.
Oh, good job.
Wait a minute.
So, like I say, there's somebody up there who wants to come down and say a few things. We're going to have him come down, and maybe Jack to walk out, you know, whatever. But, yeah, they were real stern about the 10 people. You know.
Okay.
And after Friday, when they get their plan together, they're going to change. What's your name?
Warren Scott.
Okay, nice. Ed.
Nice to meet you.
Dave, anybody introduce themselves here?
A little bit, yeah.
There's 10.
Filling in for Andrew today. He's covering the election.
All right. No.
I'm glad we just tell me things.
I've lost a few pounds, down to like 246.
Oh, yeah?
Just a walk and all. I'm not eating, yeah, I had lunch at 11:30.
Stay up there till I get done.
I lost my lunch. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Jags, are you still working? Are you able to
Yeah,
do
work
your
from
job?
home. Yeah, work from home.
Oh.
We ain't going, I know, no.
Is your mom okay? Did she recover?
She's real good. I've got an appointment June 9th for her to see if I can get her other hip replaced.
Oh.
She had the left one done 3 years ago. Now this one's really bothering her, so we
Not
finally.
from the fall, though.
No, she was just all skinned up.
Okay, Tammy, we'll call this meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Where do we start? Peeler,
Here.
Cramblett,
Here.
Fitzgerald.
Here.
Herrick.
Here.
Here. Patel. Irvin.
Here. Please stand for the prayer. That is
Let's
prayer
pray,
of the
Lord, that we who serve your people in public office may have your blessing and guidance in our deliberations and decisions, so that what we will accomplish this evening will be just and beneficial to the people whom we serve.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Do we have any calls from previous
God
meetings
bless you.
that we could improve? Dan, do we have
No,
meetings?
no.
I'm
I'm
not-
sorry, I didn't know you were talking to me.
Yeah.
No, I am gonna bring them in and I'll put them in the mailboxes, okay? At the last 2 meetings,
Okay.
I'll bring those.
Remember what I said before, at the end of the year, I like to have them before the meeting, so the
I
council
know,
people
you
can
know
go over
what?
them.
I apologize, I procrastinated because we weren't coming back till May. I started them, they're just not finished.
Okay. Any petition communications? Okay. I just got a few things, I'm gonna, right off the bat. Let's see, Bob's got things, I want to just commend a couple of people right now on my side, which will be the fire department and police department, fire department on riding the Easter Bunny. You know, you don't get too many people compliment around anymore. And when you do, you got to take advantage of it. And the fire department riding the Easter Bunny around, and when I got stopped on the street the other day, complimenting the police department, a certain one said, what a gentleman, and they took care of some things, and it was a real compliment. It's always nice to hear things like that. And Bob will go over some other things on his report. But I want to go over here.
Dan.
Hi. Jim, can you just step out for a minute? Because we got 10 people right here. We only allow 10 down here right now.
Oh.
And I'll call you in. Hey, can you ask John to step down for a minute? John Wright.
Yeah, I thought he was down there.
No,
Okay.
you can't.
I'll find you.
Jags, can you step out?
Yeah.
When John comes in?
Yeah, just let me know.
Does anybody have any questions before we go any further? Concerns?
No.
You look like some on your face, George.
Lots of concerns.
I'm always off thinking about things.
JSW, you know, there's all kind of
Yeah,
concerns.
Yeah.
The financial numbers is a
Are we gonna
concern.
open, are we not open, you know, there's just so many questions
Right.
without answers right now.
Well, I got stuff that I wanted to bring up, but I guess I was gonna ask for an executive session, but we really don't have to because there's nobody here.
Yeah, I can step out.
Yeah, but I mean, other than that, we can do that later,
Okay.
I guess.
I do have a question. I had a couple of my neighbors, and I know there's nothing we could basically do. I said, but I would bring it to council just so that I could say, yes, I went and brought it up. I guess there's a lot of wild cats around all my neighborhood, quite a few. And there's been, I guess, a lot of discharge from these cats and dogs.
A lot of what?
Yeah.
I'm using a nice word, discharge. Anyways, and they were asking me, is there anything that, you know, I said, well, I know there's no ordinance. I know they're not like a dog that you have to have them on a leash if they're not in your yard. But is there anything that
I think we've had this brought
that
up
the village, I mean,
before.
I said I didn't know of anything.
There's
but
all
I
kinds of
checked.
them down by Potters
Foxes,
and,
pestas, they're all kinds of there.
Yeah.
And wasn't this brought up before?
They're a predator, you can't touch them. That would do, yeah, they won't take them out the pound.
The only time they'll take them out of the pound.
Well, he did, this one neighbor did suggest it. I was like, I don't want to know. I don't want to know if that's what you do. Yeah, but there isn't anything like on the books of that what they can do. I know we don't have a catcher or anything.
Did anybody see Kyle out
No.
there? Was it a little more?
Okay. Well, I could tell them I brought it up and they know there's nothing we can do about that.
I don't know if they can, if
They only
they
keep
can
so many cats out at the shelter.
trap them and take them
Yeah.
out to the
Well,
shelter.
you gotta call out there to
Shelters don't even want
see if they're able to take them. I mean, if they keep 20 cats and, you know, 10 of them get adopted and theoretically they have room for 10 more
Yeah.
cats. But you can't just go out there and drop them off. You know.
There also is a program, it's a small program,
A spade.
there's some grants with it, but they're very, very competitive. They'll come in to a little location and take any cats you can get to them, and they'll spay, they'll neuter. But getting them to come in can be a difficult challenge. I think Toronto actually got them to come in a year or two ago, and I was surprised to see they got them to come into the area. but I forget the actual name of the vendor who does that and who supplies the grant money. But there are routes, they're just not easy routes.
If you're talking about Church Hill, I believe there was a woman who started a campaign to spay and neuter the cats that were in that neighborhood, because I know I gave like $10.
Well, that's one thing that would help. And they may be, it's just that
Just to let
they
you
were more
guys be
complaining
informed,
because there's
he's
nothing they
upstairs.
could do without the discharge.
Go down the end.
Here, come here.
We'll sit in my chair. I got a coffee here, I was reading. Get my glasses on, my eyes are going bad too.
Want to cry.
Okay. Dear Mayor Fiffen, after lengthy consideration, I have decided to resign from position of fire chief with the village of Mingo Junction. I will be retiring effective May 4th, 2020. This was not an easy decision. For 29 and a half years, I've dedicated my life to the department and the citizens of Mingo Junction. Unfortunately, my dedication has caused me to neglect my health and my family, both of which I need to address. I'm looking forward to finally watching my children's sporting events and other activities. It was a pleasure to serve the citizens of Mingo Junction throughout my career. I am thankful for all the opportunities that I have experienced working for the village. Throughout my employment with the village, I have encountered many individuals who have positively influenced me as a firefighter paramedic. I will forever cherish the acclamation that I have received from professionals as well as the citizens that I have served. Not many people can say they love their job, but for 29 and a half years, I truly did. I intend on assisting Acting Chief Ray Haw with anything needed to make a smooth transition. I also intend on staying part-time with the village department and will be there to assist the permanent replacement for the chief's position at a later date. I would like to thank you and the village for the great opportunities and experience I have had while working for the village fire department. Thank you. Maybe we should all of them.
I know we've had a lot of conversations.
John, the stuff that I had, I told you I wanted to read tonight.
Yes.
I wanted to just, with these people here,
Okay. Village Administrator Bob just talked to me at great length too about it.
what I was going to say about
Yeah.
tonight. I mean, I wanted to go in executive session,
Okay, I'll be up in Bob's office. or
you know,
something.
but you think I'd bring it up right now? Since I didn't know, I thought you would come later when we went, if we,
I think we can go to executive session for that.
afterwards?
I think so.
Okay, all right, then I got a lot to say, and I want to bring it out after we're done in executive session.
As I said, me and you had a lot of conversations about this.
Yeah.
You know, and your health is more important
Yeah.
than your family, which I agree with wholeheartedly. And I know you've been, rough times in the past couple of months, but, I mean, I appreciate what you did on that. I don't want to speak for council, but I'm speaking for them.
Yeah.
So, but I appreciate you. Got any questions or anything, or?
Yeah, and like I said, I still remain part-time, and I know we're short on medics, and
Yes, yes.
once I get
We are
my
that.
breathing issues sorted out, it's still.
We are that.
Yeah.
Okay. But I'll be in touch and we'll talk. And I appreciate you still want to be involved. Yeah, so,
Appreciate
yeah.
it.
Okay, so.
Okay, thank you, appreciate it. Thank you all. Okay.
John,
Yes.
when I read this, do you want to be here? Do you need to be, you
Yeah,
want to
I'm
be present?
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks, John.
You come back out? No.
Well, I want, but as long as there's 10 people. We have to have a meeting. Bob, we brought up something where maybe I can bring this up now, that one meeting till this is over, a month. I know June, July, and August we did that. May, maybe one, like to get together at least once a month.
Okay.
That's the thing.
Starting when?
Can I say something? You have the committees, let the committees meet, and then bring it back to the council meeting.
Well, that's what my thing was at the beginning. Remember when I wanted committees
Yeah.
to meet and bring things up.
It's usually for 3 guys, and it's for 6.
Try to Lysol. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Where am I gonna go?
Go up in front, right?
No, just this place. I guess I gotta give my report, correct? That what we're looking for?
Yes.
This Bud,
There's one on top of my thing.
You know what's this one here?
I got my report here. Miss Bud, can you go upstairs and look on my desk to see? I had the other reports too from the sewage and, tell me I don't have it on here. Jeez. Okay, well, we'll start with mine. Okay, we'll start the hot patch. We're gonna do the pre-construction, here soon, on 4 May, the week of 4 May, for the storm sewer separations. Advertise for park managers. Well, we got 2 applicants now. We have Karen back, which is fantastic. I'm glad that she applied. We did receive the new truck. The sewer line up on North Hill, down at the bottom of North Hill, is on hold because that stuff is still on hold. We're trying to get that moved up. We did talk to an ODOT engineer. You know, both sides are now slipping, so I'm hoping that they're gonna really reconsider that. We're replacing risers on North Hill, cleaning the pool, getting it ready. You know, who knows when it's gonna open. We don't know what's gonna go on with that. Sludge barn, we're looking at that. I actually called the insurance company. I had somebody look at it, and it was too big of a job for them. So they're gonna have somebody, an actual contractor, come down and take a look at that. Of course, the village stays in lockdown, the building remains in lockdown. That isn't it, that isn't it, man, that isn't it. That isn't the report. I'll come back and give it, I'll go back and look. I'm also tonight proposing that, well, I'm working on a schedule for the roads. I got another engineer I'm gonna be looking at to do my spec, even though I have a spec, but I'm just looking for somebody else to take a look at that. I wasn't satisfied with the contractor that did the asphalt or Thrasher, who was the engineer on the contract. So I'm looking for somebody else at this point in time. Like I said, I'm proposing to make the payment. There's one more up there. Keep looking. Thank you. That's wastewater. I know Wayne's is up there too. Like I said, $10, taking $20 off just for this billing period. I think it'd be something we should do for these folks.
Yeah.
You know, a goodwill gesture from us. You know, we're still going to get, you know, all the water as far as, you know, the usage and everything else, but I think it'd be something good that we need to do for the village of Mingo people. I have 3 estimates to repay that upper shelter. I'm going to be starting on that soon. I did receive that grant. I was the only one that got a grant, actually, in Jefferson County for $26,000. So that grant, it's an 80-20. So you know, that $26,000 will cover 80% of whatever we spend, and I'm still working on in-kind services by our folks. They can possibly take up the other 20%, so nothing comes out of our coffers at all. But you know, we're going to get that thing really repaid entirely. I mean, I'm all the way down by the walking path and everything. So you know, I think that'll look really, really good. Cut Cemetery, those folks are doing a great job. You know, they're getting compliments. I got a volunteer right here. I thank you a lot. Mr. Bertel, he's up there cutting the park, and we've actually received a lot of comments already on that. I'm suggesting 1 council meeting a month. Well, I tell you what, I think you actually did it. I think you got it, buddy. Just until this is all over with. You know, that's my thoughts anyhow. It's something you guys will have to decide. I know that we have an ordinance in place, I think, for June, July, and August already, right? For one a month, pretty much. But I would just really take a look at, see, you know, see how far in advance we can go with this, because like I said, I think they're gonna come out, but they're still gonna have, 10 people per and 6 feet between and the whole 9 yards. We're cleaning catch basins also. I also don't have on here, I actually wrote up a CDBG grant, and I think that it either ranked number 1 or number 2, so we're gonna get probably $50,000 to do some surface paving out here. Now, that'll be next fiscal year. They don't know exactly what kind of money they're gonna get from the state, but I'm pretty sure that we got it. I also just received $42,000 from workman's comp. So things are going rather well, even though things are not going rather well. Let me report to you guys a little bit about wastewater. I'm not going to read all this. Cleaned the contact tank, replaced the bad pump in the thickener. I cleaned the main line city from city buildings to the marina, which we always have to do. Digester tank, we got one that failed, a pump, we replaced it. We're getting a second lift station is now operating the JSW still. We're getting an increase in revenue from the mill. Yeah, I probably should talk about the mill a little bit. I got a little insight. Talk to the folks over there. There'll be another layoff here in probably 3 weeks, like 14 more people. They're optimistic. I'm a little scared, but you know what? We survived without that mill before. If it goes down, we'll survive again. But I'm hoping that once we get this turned around and people get back to work, I'm hoping that whoever's elected president realizes that we need to have our national security. I mean, this is an eye-opener and a wake-up call for our country as far as, you got pharmaceuticals, 98% coming from China, and when we have to go over India and beg them for a drug, I think this is an eye-opener. So I don't think that, I think that the next guy gets in there, and I hope gets in there, he's gonna make sure that we have our steel-making capability in this country. I got a good feeling that he'll ensure that, because, that's your war-making capability. I hate to talk like that, but that's just the way it goes. So, anyhow, anything to orifice pipes, 38% increase in flow and effluent. This thing's called a commutator. Basically, I call it a grinder. It has failed on us, okay? It allows little particles to come in through, but I don't know if I'm going to replace it or not. It's a $20,000 item. Now, after I do the storm sewer separation and put the new grid system in and everything, we won't need it. So I'm hoping I can basically not replace it for $20,000. I hate to waste $20,000, and basically it's a non-use item. So we'll see. I'll keep talking to Wayne to see how, if we can get through without it. We got the railing replaced down there by the digester. The cameras were repaired on the marina. 2 new cameras were actually installed. The last couple of mercury permits were in violation. To date, no violations have occurred in the last 2 years. When an individual left here, we got really banged with a mercury problem. I think you all know that. That has been definitely taken care of. We don't have any of those issues anymore. A new septic hauler, Berger Septic, started hauling to the plant. This company I gave a report a few months ago. They said they picked up 2 more well sites. They hauled them out. Now well sites are here, beneficial for the company to use our facility, which is a lot closer. We can expect them to use our facility according to the driver 4 to 5 times a week. This other piece of revenue at the plant, they dropped the first day 2 loads totaling 6,500 gallons of 1,500 a 1,000. So 1 day revenue was almost $100. So any bit will help, because we're going to be a little dead here real soon with that 5 point. I think that CSO is going to turn into about a $5.2 million project. So I always said that if we keep under $6 million, we're in really good shape. I think it's going to be about close to 5.2. Because there were some things they didn't take into account, and plus that $250,000 grant that I received, they didn't put that against it either. So I think we're going to be in good shape. No matter what, we had to do it. No matter what. If we would have gone the old way and did it in, and sequencing this and doing it in stages, we would have probably spent $10 to $15 million to do it easily. So we're getting the biggest bang for our buck, and we'll get the EPA off our back as soon as this is completed. They keep putting out shut-off notices, but we are not shutting anybody off. Okay, we are not shutting anybody off. But we're in place. Once this is all lifted, we can go shut people off. You know, we're gonna be as nice as we possibly can, but some of these folks, you know, they have some pretty huge bills out there, and we're gonna try to take care of it. Staff is pouring, cleaning, and painting, waste treatment entry doors. Let's see what else is on here. I've been cleaning up the fence lines, trees and brush, cutting grass. I can't say enough about the folks, you know, that are out there right now in the wastewater treatment plant, in the water plant, in my service department for, you know, for such a low manpower. We sure do get a hell of a lot of things done. We really do, you know. I mean, the service department, I think we have 7 people up there, and 3 of them go right out on the Packard each day. Then I have a mechanic, okay, that's 4 people. So I got 3 people left to do everything in this village. If anybody wants to say anything about what they get done, they can come talk to me, because they get it done. Upgraded 18 more meters, now we have a total of 241 new meters there.
Do we have, I'm sorry, but do we, any in the village monitoring?
I told them to start to put those in. I really did. I said, you know, right now would be the time to do it. I told Wayne, I said, you know, because we can't go in anybody's homes or anything like that and do it. I said, let's look, let's get some of these in, okay? So
City
I
building.
did talk to him about doing that.
Thank you.
You're welcome. The leak repairs, finally, I knew we had issues up there, around there, and we finally, you know, 250,000 gallons per day, folks, is probably what we were losing. That's a big, that's a bunch of water. Still milk consumption has dropped approximately 375,000 gallons per day to 305,000. And I think it's going to drop some more here probably in the next few weeks. Like I said before, talking to the individual over there, I felt that he, you know, he was optimistic. They put a lot of money in this place over here, you know, but that doesn't mean anything really, because they could write that off and just walk away if they have to. The department's air compressor has been repaired, and the dehumidifier replacement, remember we were talking about that, it was probably, you know, $80,000, $90,000. Well, it's coming in a little higher, maybe $20,000 more. But I told Wayne, I don't care, you know, I told you we're gonna keep putting money back into this infrastructure here as far as our wastewater treatment plant and our water treatment plant. So no matter what, you know, I said, we'll get it, we can afford it at this point in time. Hey, once again, we've made all kind of improvements down at that place before this building came back online. It's how you spend your money, you know, it's not rocket science. And I think we've made some major inroads on both of those facilities. So that's all I have.
Question. George Street and the alley that comes down from Warren Avenue. You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
There's a manhole. It's probably breaks up out of the ground, probably about a foot and a half. I don't know whether water pressure's pushing it up. But if you hit with your car, you're almost upset.
Yeah.
You know about it?
No, I don't know about it.
It's the one that goes down the alley where
You say Warren and George?
it's the alley.
Okay.
It's on George Street, but it's the alley coming from Warren. And why I got here, I was asking you about the park too. Cameras. I don't know who shut the cameras off or who did what with the cameras, but the playground's no longer on our system. There's
Okay.
cameras there.
Yeah.
It's shut off. I don't know who shut them off.
Nobody should shut off unless something happened with the modem inside the.
No,
No?
just removing the system. And the one for the stage is not working. That's probably the one we gotta really.
Yeah, I recall. I'm telling you,
I know.
I'm not a lot about Comcast, folks. I thought it would have been a good move. I'm just not so lot about them at all. I'm really not.
I've got one more thing.
Okay, go ahead.
I need maybe Bertie to write a letter to the Jackson family about moving the headstones to the cemetery. They're on the wrong place.
Found out there's a few people in the wrong place.
There's a lot of people in the wrong place.
We were gonna sell 3 lots and found out that somebody's already buried there. That's not on our guy, that's not on Judy up there. This is a long time ago. I mean, a really long time ago.
There's babies in the spots that I was gonna buy.
Yeah, I know. That's the point we were talking about. You can squeeze in there somewhere, I'm sure.
We got our other spots now.
Do you get it?
You're gonna be right beside us.
My
Behind
brother's
you.
got 2 slots and there's 3 of
Punch
us
you
left, so
forever.
I don't know, maybe I'll try to go first. Zach's-
There's supposed to be a camera facing the entrance of the park.
Yeah, on that pole.
That's gone. I don't know.
It's not on, or is it gone?
No, I don't know who eliminated it, but it's eliminated.
I mean, the camera's still there?
No. Nope.
Well, I'll get them down here at the same time I'm gonna get these folks down here. That's the other thing I didn't put on here, raindrop. I've been trying to call those folks to get them down here because I want that splash pad repaired. We've already basically paid for it, so I'm not getting any response from them, but I'm sure I will. So, I mean, that was a great deal that we actually made. Now I'm trying to talk like Trump. That was a really good deal that we made to have them come down for like $3,000 and actually get that thing up and running like it should. It's a shame what happened to that place out there, guys. Should have never happened. Should have never happened. That's all I can say. It doesn't really need to run 24/7, and we can get it back to where, it's all going to be automated again and run like it's supposed to run, so.
About the bocce court, Bob, you said you're having.
Yeah, watch the
second
court,
thoughts
yeah,
about that.
we don't have the money to build Bob's dream home down there,
Right. Not right now.
So at this point in time, maybe later on in the year, if we see what's going on, I checked the bocce court out up there. I mean, up there, we put some tar up in there and some little bit of asphalt up in there for the gap. And I'm gonna tell you, it's really not all that bad. So, I'm gonna probably allow that to open back up. But once again, we have people inquiring right now about, okay, what are we gonna do? I mean, we got all these
Yeah.
parties up there and, I don't know right now. I mean, if we open it up, allow them to come and use those, damn well that, you're just not gonna be able to police it, unless you put a stick on each side of them, 6 foot long, and they can't get closer. We'll just have to wait for some guidance, that's all I can say. You don't want my personal opinion on this stuff, because I'd had more things open than closed at this point in time, let's put it that way. That's Switzerland over there, how they did it. They didn't close down anything.
Question. Somebody had asked me about when we would get a picnic table back down at the marina.
Oh, I can put one down there, actually stay down there.
Well, no, there's none there now, so I didn't
I know,
know
but I'm
if
just
it
saying,
was
what can we
full or
change
it
it
got
to?
flooded and.
What can you chain it to, is the
Yeah.
question.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That was another issue. Anybody see those pictures?
yeah, of the
that pipe?
marina,
Oh,
I am very surprised that pipe held up.
yeah.
That pipe was one hell of a pipe.
There's pictures on the positive page.
I
Two
fished off
different
that pipe
posts,
as a
I
kid,
think.
man. I just can't believe that log that Timmy drug out of there. I mean, my God, that looked like a sequoia. And I don't know if it's still gone or not. I doubt it, because I doubt if the water level's gone down since, we've had 17 days of rain again.
Yeah, that's gonna rain the next 3 or 4, I think.
Anything else? I don't like to look at you and ask that question.
They cleaned the source.
Yes, it did.
So all the copper water's kind of moving.
I know that they cleaned that issue, because you was talking, that issue with one of
The
our.
water was coming up into the shut house again, it's gone. The water coming out in the field, it's gone. They cleaned the source all out with that rotor, so you get a hell of a job up there.
Well, like I said before, guys, I mean, I can't compliment these folks enough. I mean, I talk with Timmy on the weekends, and, we kind of map out a strategy, and anything that comes up, they do just a fantastic job for what they have.
There was a shout out to him on the positive page for the cemetery
Oh.
yesterday or the day before.
I'm just afraid of my buddy, he's just working too hard. I worry about Timmy sometimes. Oh, Mike Boca too, yeah, Mike Boca's doing a lot up there too,
Yeah.
up at the park. It looks really good, Jack, it really looks good. Well, that's all I got. I guess I gotta leave, stay sterile. I don't know if I'll be back down in here, has the agreement's been set forth or anything?
I was working on it.
Okay. All right, guys, I'll probably be back.
thank you, Bob.
What's that?
Jag, you have anything?
No, I just gave everybody a copy of our first budget.
Okay.
George and Jody requested check registry, so I gave them those. Handed out checks, that's about it, so.
Because we got looked at the budget, everything, yeah.
No, Johnny asked talked to me about some charges that were done for them, but
Is that the
probably
new
able to get this corrected.
budget? Is that the new budget? Yeah.
Not very much things, not
Should be
mine.
in your,
Sweatshirts and a few other things that
oh, never mind.
coming out of fire budget shouldn't have.
Yeah.
You guys talked about this,
George?
Well, he's still talking, I think. All right.
about this water payment? Are you passing that or reducing it? Have you talked about it?
Well, vote on it.
And nobody made a motion on it yet.
Yeah, Bob just mentioned it.
I mean, we're really looking at tightening our budget. I mean, if you're looking at $10, $20 per person, if we have 1,600 accounts, that's $3,200 a month for 2 months. If you're gonna do it, it's $6,400 or so. It's a pretty
He
good
said,
chunk.
he said 1 month.
1 month, May, right?
Yes.
1 month?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought he was going 2. Okay.
George?
Any update on where things stand with Ohio checkbook?
I talked to Kim about that today. She said she's all done on her end, our end, I guess. And the girl that was her contact there is no longer working there. And apparently they're finding somebody to take her spot. So once they get that, then hopefully that person's able to just implement everything and be done with it, so.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah, just while we're on this stuff, did we get any money in for EMS?
I'm not aware. I can go up and ask Johnny and Jimmy.
Well, I'll tell you what then, because I checked on it. We got $47,000 in.
You got it in?
We got $47,000 in.
Was that, what period of
That's-
time was that?
The ending?
Most of it's last year.
So that would be the October, November,
Yeah.
December?
Yeah.
And didn't,
And we should still
Jody,
have
didn't
some,
we have one before that too? There were like 4 instead of 3? I don't know why, I seem to
4
think there was
instead
one,
of
an
1.
earlier one that was skipped too.
Anyhow,
Remember how much we had that we thought we were gonna get back?
no. Anyhow, there's a couple of outstanding bills that will knock the crap out of that 47,000. You know about it, Mr. Huggins?
I've heard about it, yes.
You heard about it. One's $10,000 worth.
or,
For what, Jack?
Trinity.
for what?
Trinity. Trinity Health System. We owe for whatever, I don't know. I just know it's $10,000 worth of bills.
Can somebody add a little clarity to that? What we're talking about?
Ray Hall will be down.
Sit down and Joe gives his report,
Okay.
and Jim Ray Hall will be down. So he'll be down to give his report.
Do you know anything about this, Mayor?
A little bit.
No, who should know about it then?
Jim will know about it.
Who?
Jim will know about it.
Jim will know about it. Okay.
Okay, George?
Yeah, that's fine.
George?
Jax, any idea, I don't know if there's a way we can contact Rita and get some sort of breakdown as far as income tax revenue from source. This way we can kind of get some sort of rough approximation as far as if JSW is idled and idled for a certain period amount of time, how much revenue we would know comes usually from them. We can extrapolate that down and then budget out the rest of the year with some approximations as far as what lost revenue may be. I don't know, I mean, they should be able to do that.
Well, I asked Kim about that. We have a contact of Rita Bryan. We can give him a call, but she didn't think there was any way when she and I were talking about it. So there's got to be some way because
Yeah, they have to have that knowledge. There's
Well,
got to
and
be
they've
some
moved,
database.
they've moved the payment back. They're not due now until July 15th. Rita as well.
I'm just talking
So,
about just in general for them, if being idled, that's revenue lost because of lack of personnel working, lack of income, lack of
Are they not-
income, the lack of the income tax revenue.
are they not doing anything down there?
No, there's still people there doing
doing maintenance
things,
and,
but it's,
But they're not filling orders.
no. No, the plant's gonna, I think, pretty much be idle.
I heard it was for sale. 20 million.
I didn't hear that.
That's from somebody who works inside there. Okay, we'll call Brian so we get that taken care of.
Jack, do you have anything else?
No, that's it. Everybody got
That's it? Okay, Ernie's not here. Joe?
Joe make 11?
Our department's doing good with the coronavirus, the citizens are working well with us. Like everything else, our traffic stops are down because of avoid contact with citizens. And no complaints on how we handle a lot of our calls over the phone. We are going to major calls, our phones are off. Everybody's social distancing and staying home. We're getting more domestics. Our new officer's doing good. I got him an afternoon turn. Help cover the afternoon workload. I'm probably putting on midnight next week or next month or either 4th. Help the afternoon midnight shift out. And that we're doing all right. I'd like to request executive session from the personnel after the meeting. Any questions?
Okay, anybody have anything for the police chief? Okay, Joe, thank you.
Then give me none.
All right.
Yeah, I want,
He's next, right?
right,
Tammy,
yeah.
did you note in the minutes Jags handed out the budgets? Noted in
Yeah,
the minutes that
Put it in
the budgets were handed out, so we don't get
Yes, I
paid
did,
for it.
yes. But I don't need a copy for the minutes, do I? Do I need a copy of it?
No, from my
No.
name, just that I presented.
Yeah, I did. Mhm.
I'll wait for him to come down. Passing a piece of paper out that Johnny gave me, being that he's resigning, but what we might need for a new fire chief when he comes in, and some of the recommendations that he has made when we do hire the next chief. And he also put some things about the 4 different certification levels for EMS, because some people, and Jack would know this, when you go on calls, you know, some people just think anybody can give CPR, and well, that's not the case. So that some of this is enlighten the people, you know, enlighten some of the things I didn't know about what actually those people can do when they're out on the call.
Jackie, thank you.
That's good.
Where's the hot seat at?
Front row center, or this is?
There you go.
Right here. Front row center usually.
Sit right here.
That's the hot seat.
And that seat's got electric cords up there.
All right, you guys want to hear my report?
Absolutely.
Okay, got lots of things, but I'll try and make it quick. What was the last time we met was like in end of March or something like that, so the call report for the month of March, we had 75 calls, 59 of them were EMS calls, 3 small fire calls, 2 investigation, 9 lift assist, 1 search, and 1 that we was canceled. Of those 59 EMS calls, 10 of them were to Steubenville, 4 of them we responded to, 6 of them we did not respond to, because nobody was here to cover town. I thought, when I look back at these numbers, March definitely seemed to slow down, and I thought coronavirus was slowing down, because in February we had 108 calls, very busy month, in March 75, but we're back up to 80 now, and we still got a couple days, so I think the coronavirus slowdown is over within 1 month, so, and now that they're opening things back up, we're probably going to get busier again. And since I mentioned COVID-19, we had to spend a little bit of money on supplies, around a couple $100. We bought some suits and some disinfectant spray and stuff to have to use in the ambulance and if we had calls. But we actually had a lot, not a lot, we had some of those famous N95 masks and some of the surgical masks, some of the things that were needed, we had left over from the Ebola scare several years ago. We had all that stuff, and so we had some of those things left over. And so we actually have not used through what we already had on hand, except for the surgery mask, because we only had a few of those. And now, like after the first week of those calls, the hospital required everybody to have masks when you go in the hospital. So that means 2 crew members and a patient. That's 3 masks every call. So we went through what we had quickly. I got free ones from the county, EMA. So that's the only thing we've had to get really from the EMA is some of those face masks. Everything else we're still good on. And we've actually only had 2 EMS calls where we considered that the patients were possible COVID patients, and they both turned out to be negative. So we have not had a positive COVID patient in town here. If you guys don't already know, the Easter Bunny was here in Mingo on the day before Easter. That was due to Todd Morris, one of our new guys. He brought it to my attention. He knew the person. I think they were associated with Indian Creek or something. I'm not even sure who it was. But he said they had somebody would wear Easter Bunny suit, wanted to know if it was all right, take him around in the fire truck. And I thought it was a pretty good idea since all the kids were locked down. So that's what they did for like 3 hours on the day before Easter, drove the Easter Bunny around.
It had
So I hope-
such a positive impact.
Yeah, I hope. I don't do social media, so I don't know anything about it, but I heard, you know, Facebook and all that stuff, it was positive.
A lot of
So
pictures.
I'm glad we do something that makes people happy and positive thing, instead of always negative stuff. The Avalon, if any of you noticed, there was caution tape around the Avalon building down the corner 2.5 weeks ago, something like that. There was, I'll use the word stuff, on the ground from the building. What we found out it was nothing but roofing. And we actually took the ladder truck down there, we went up, checked the building out. The building has 2 flat roofs on it, 2 rolled roofing, one over the other, and the part that faces Indian Village Apartments, the top coat of the rolled roofing came undone and started rolling back up and tore off some pieces. And that was that weekend. We had a lot of wind, several days of high winds. All it did was tear off rolled roofing, threw it down onto commercial and ravine. So that's all it is. It's not the building falling down or anything else like that. We're sending the letter. We're double checking on where the owner actually lives now, but we're going to send them a letter to repair the roof so it doesn't keep happening, because it's this, you know, the windward side. So the more wind, the roof is just going to keep curling up and blowing off of there. And there's one window facing Ravine Street that was boarded up at one time, is no longer boarded up. So we're going to send the owners a letter and have them repair it so we don't have anything more. But it's not structural, it's not anything major falling off the building, just some roll roofing. Reference to the COVID and the economic downturn and things that are going on with that, I called First National Bank to ask them if there was a chance we could refinance the loan for the ambulance, because we're paying $6,000 a month in interest, and that's taken out of the levy money, which, you know, stinks. So that's a lot of money, and I wanted to see if, you know, everybody's doing things for people now with the economic downturn. So I thought maybe we could get something there. The answer to that is no. The only thing First National Bank is offering at this point in time is a 3-month deferment or 3-month interest only. So I don't see where that's really going to help the village at this point. But that's the only thing First National has on the table at this time. It may change if things get worse in the country or whatever. We'll keep an eye on that. I told Melanie, the lady that deals with that, to keep an eye on it and let me know if anything changes. Speaking of ambulances, we got the one ambulance is sitting out back. It's one of the old, obviously one of the old ones. It's not the new one. It's got a problem with the engine. That's why it's sitting out there. It is the newer of the two old ambulances. We're actually using the oldest ambulance we have in service right now. This is a better ambulance outside, but the problem, according to Mike Allen, the city mechanic, is something to do with oil pressure. These new fancy diesel engines have to have oil pressure or they don't run. You gotta have the right amount of oil pressure. He tore it down, tried to adjust, fix, get a picture of what's wrong. He believes that it's the oil pump inside the engine. It's not keeping the oil pressure high enough for the engine to continue to run. He says that, and he's got the engine like partially torn down. He believes that if it is that oil pump, you're talking $1,500 to $2,000 to repair it. If it's not that, it's a major tear down of the engine, which is going to be many of thousands of dollars. So we don't really have a real need for that ambulance. Like I said, we got our oldest ones in service now. I would rather have this one out here being the newer of the old two. I would rather have that one in service, but I honestly don't see a reason to spend a lot of money to get the engine back in service that may or may not last, or if we end up having to completely rebuild that engine, tens of thousands of dollars. There's no reason, because in a few more years we're going to be buying our second new ambulance and there won't be any need for it. So unless council's got some free money that they want to give me for maintenance and tell me to go fix that engine, my suggestion is going to be either we keep it and tear parts off of it to repair the other one that we have, or get rid of it. Like I said, the engine's torn down, it doesn't run, so I don't know how much money you would get out of it. There's plenty of people in the world that love to tinker with things like that, but I don't know if you want to scrap it or auction it or whatever, but I want to get it out of the back parking lot for one thing. I think it's an eyesore sitting back there. I'd like to take it down to the sewage plant where the other old vehicles are, and if we're just going to let it sit there, like I said, we can, as the old one that we have in service now, if things break on it, they're only 4 years apart, a lot of the parts will interchange. We could be stripping this one, using it on that one. If not, if you want to get rid of it, feel free to do that. I would ultimately, we've always kept backup vehicles. When we get the second new one in service here in a few years, I would like to keep one of the old ones as just a backup, so that in case something goes down, something happens, we have one. We'll deal with that when the time comes. We got probably at least 3 more years before we're going to have levy money to buy that second one, so we'll deal with that when the time comes. The IMS program, thank you, council, for approving us to buy those iPads so we could use the IMS program. The program has been downloaded, it's been in service. We have been using it since March the 30th. April the 6th, the first batch of EMS runs went to the billing company. They go every Monday. Tim sends them down there. That's gone on without a hitch. The program is fantastic. It does all the reports that we need to do on those iPads, fire, EMS, whatever. We can do everything on those iPads. It's a wonderful thing. I wish we had it years ago. It actually takes dictation, like doctors do. You don't have to type narratives, you can dictate. I haven't typed a narrative in weeks, and I can't type, so I would spend a half an hour typing a narrative for an EMS report because I can't type. Now, I sit there in 3 minutes, I talk, and it's done, printed out, gone. So this was a wonderful thing.
How much
So-
time savings do you think,
Oh,
as far as billing purposes go?
I don't know, it's really probably a couple hours or so a month. You know, it's hard to tell because everything was done piecemeal. You do something on one day, something on the other. It's hard to, I never kept track of how many hours I actually put into it. But, you know, the trips now are on the computer. The only thing that Tim does now is he scans the face sheet, which is the demographic sheet, the patient's name, address, hospitalization. He scans that in the same as I used to do. All the signatures are now on the iPads. There's no signing of any papers anymore. You sign the iPad. So we got the patient's signature, our signatures, everything's on the iPad. And the trips are in the computer. All he does is look at an entire screen of all the calls, and we don't do that many in a week. He looks at them, he makes sure that which ones are for billing, which ones were not for billing. He marks those, makes sure that they're finished, and scans, you know, half a dozen, 10 face sheets in the computer, and hits the button, and it goes to IMS, and from that point on, it's IMS's responsibility. So it's a savings of hours, several hours a month. But I never kept close enough of how much I actually had in. But it's definitely a time savings in billing. It's definitely a time savings in us getting the reports done, because now we always had, we always had somebody doing the non-EMS calls, because those calls, there still were reports done. Every call has a report that's going to somebody, and so somebody had to do those calls. On a fire, somebody would do a preliminary written report at the scene, get some information. But somebody at the station had to sit down at a computer and put all that information in. Now, it takes you, for a fire call, I haven't done a fire call, really, a major fire call. But simple calls, it might take you 5 minutes at the most at the iPad, and boom, that's gone. And for a fire, still, the people that are on duty that go to the call are doing the reports. It doesn't have to come back and wait for anybody else to do it. It's their responsibility now, because they're out there, they got the iPad in their hand, they get the information, you don't write it down, you type it in the iPad as you're standing there talking to the people, and it's done. When they come back, all they gotta do is do a narrative, and the trip's over with. So it's a whole lot less for Tim Matter now, because he was the one that was doing all those trips. So he's got the whole IMS ball of wax, and it's a whole lot less time, and I'm out of it completely, which, thank God. And speaking of billing, I went back and painstakingly went through all 217 calls that was sent in late after the beginning of the year from last year that I did, and we have collected $35,300 to this point, and there are still 71 outstanding accounts. There are some that we lost because of time, but it was basically one company. Guess which one it was? United Healthcare, our insurance carrier. But they said it was too late to bill, and so we got some zeros. But I think, I don't remember what numbers you guys were throwing around at the budget meetings, but we've brought in $35,000 already of last year's money.
So we still have January and February.
Oh, yeah, we still have this year's money.
coming in.
Yeah, it's coming in. But just for the last year's, we've already collected 35, and there will be more with 71 outstanding accounts.
Fantastic.
Okay, Mayor's not here, right?
So he's up there.
I guess I can't talk to
Vice
him.
Mayor's over there.
Oh, did the mayor leave?
No, he's upstairs. We can only have 10 in here.
Oh, okay.
There's people
Well,
right in
my
the
last
street.
item, it's not a big deal, but it's a thorn in my thumb, my claw. They closed this building down and put all those nice signs on all the doors. Well, where do you think everybody goes when they want something?
That back door, or your fire department.
They go to the fire department. Everybody comes to the fire department. I even put up separate sheets because we had our own people that thought they were exempt from the rules and they would like to come down and visit. I put up my own signs, front and back of the fire department. You're not coming in here, no visitors, call 911. And I even put the business line number on there. You know, the signs that the mayor put up, they have the departments and their telephone number. People constantly come into our door because that's the way it's been for history. They come to the fire department if you want to see somebody, and they're asking, I want the police here, or they want this. We have employees that can't get in the building because they don't have keys, and the building's locked, so they want to come through our place. We have all the people off the street coming, how can I do this, who's there, is this person here, I want to talk. I'm getting to the point where I'm gonna stop answering the door. I mean, it's just getting annoying. Maybe things will calm down now that, I don't know when we're opening the building, but things are getting back to normal, we're starting in that direction. But it's become annoying at this point. People constantly ringing our doorbell, and it has nothing to do with us.
Yeah, but the first time you don't answer that door, it's gonna be somebody out there in a car having a heart attack.
You're probably right, but it interrupts our day many times to go out there just to find out, you know, the cops aren't here, you know, put your water bill in the big white box out there, do this and do that. It's annoying. It really is. But, you know, that's mine or the
Maybe you could put
problems
a
of the
note on
world.
there, do not ring this bell unless you are having a medical emergency.
Unless you're dying.
Yeah, seriously.
I mean, those big signs take up almost the entire window glass, like that on that door.
Yeah.
They take probably half of it, I would say. Two big signs, mine and the mayor's. They can't see through the window because of those two big signs, and yet they don't read any of that. They just ring the doorbell and wait for us to answer and want something else. Okay, that's all I have. That was my box.
That 35,000, when's the last date on it? When'd you get an update?
Yesterday.
Okay, I talked to Dave, he told me like 47,000.
Well, it depends on what he's looking at.
I don't know.
That's the thing. If he's just looking at, because their website puts everything in there in order of the trip numbers, okay, and the dates. So I look at it and the oldest stuff's bottom and I scroll up and the newest stuff's on the top of the list. And when you do a search, it's by date. So, it's the date, because they're an accounting people, it's by date of when they do something. It's not the date of the call. It's the date when they got the money, when they paid it out, when they billed it. Those are the dates they live by. So when you do a search and you say, I want to know total revenue, and from January 1st to April 27th, if you've done it yesterday, it will show all the money that MCA received from January 1st to April 27th. But it probably is that because you're collecting money from the year 2020 as well.
Okay.
Mine are just, I went back through that entire list and I picked out the trip. I went through them and found each trip number because it's all right here on the page before. I got all the trip numbers and I found each trip number and looked, and these are the ones that I sent out, and I wrote down what was brought in on each one of those trip numbers. So this is the 217 runs from 2019.
Okay.
So I'm sure we have brought in more than 35,000 because we've brought in money for 2020 runs.
Now, is there not, come on, see any bills we owe? You know how many bills we owe?
Oh, yeah, I'm sure there is outstanding bills. I still have to sit down with Kim and pay some bills. I don't know. What are you talking?
10,000?
Yes,
Okay. You know about that?
yes,
Okay. Is from Trinity?
Trinity.
Okay.
What's it for?
Drugs, supplies, everything else?
Medical supplies and drugs.
Okay.
Since 2015.
That part I don't know. I've seen the statement.
I looked at it, so I, and nothing against you, I mean, it's there. They never sent it, they just kept sitting on it.
Trinity did?
Yes.
Well, maybe,
I understand, because I queried that, I did see that statement. I was told there's a dispute between the fire department and Trinity over some of those charges, and those disputes have never been settled. The bill continues to grow.
Okay. Just as long as you guys know what's going on.
no, I don't know. I mean, this is the first I'm hearing about
Me
it, so
too.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Where do you think I know? Because I called this guy from where he's called. And talked to
MCA?
Dave. Then I found out about the bill because the bill I seen on somebody's desk. And I asked about it. $10,000. I just asked about it. But I guess we'll get it settled.
Is somebody, I mean, is it with the solicitor, I'm assuming? Who's settling it, or who's looking into it, or what's going
Actually,
on?
since I have been in charge, nothing's being done about it, because I don't have the information to fight the battle.
So are we getting our solicitor involved? I guess is what I'm asking.
I don't know if he could get involved.
Well, you can get involved in anything.
Well, yeah, but
Village business.
it's got to do with what I want to say, people take drug tests, some of them belongs to other people.
What?
You know what I mean? Drug test. You take a drug test?
I've taken many drugs.
There's some drug tests on that sheet. If you look at it,
I have never seen,
it's about
I
this
saw it
thick, it's about
stated.
this thick.
Okay, I've never seen that. How do you see that?
How do I see it? I see somebody on somebody's desk and I ask about it.
Who's somebody?
I-
Who's got a bill, who's got a fire department bill for $10,000? I don't have that.
I don't know, you have to ask the office up there, ask that guy back here. Guy back here, ask him.
Jack, I don't like being smacked over the head with shit. If you got an issue, please come to me.
I don't have an
Outside
issue.
of council meeting. Yes.
No, I don't have an issue with you, Jim.
Anybody got a question? I'm not talking about it anymore. Anybody got a question for me?
No.
I don't like that remark either.
I don't care, Jack. You don't need to come to a public meeting that you know something that you got from him, that he got from him, that you talked up there, somebody's desk. You always got these referring to things, just like that crap with the pictures that you gave me, 1980, 90 pictures from that piece of property up there.
They're in my
And
mailbox.
it was in my mailbox. I don't know. That's bull crap, and you know it.
Did you look at him?
Yes, I threw them out because I walked up there, I drove up there, and I looked at the property.
And it's still there.
I don't care, Jack.
Okay.
Anybody got any questions?
No?
I said,
If anybody's got any questions, if you got an issue about the $10,000 Trinity bill, come and see me in my office on Monday through Wednesday. I'm there 7 to 3.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Rahal,
Yes, sir.
later on, I'm going into executive session. I want you and Johnny here.
Okay, I'll be here. Thank you.
Okay. All right. I think that's about everybody else, right?
I got Kyle.
Huh?
Kyle.
Oh, Al, come on in. Holy mackerel, I ain't got no money. I ain't got no money, buddy. There it is back there, sitting at the end of the table there.
Is that really Kyle?
Nice to see him.
How did you say?
You know, we can't hear you when you don't have that on. That's worse.
6 foot, I'll get as close as I can.
Sit there. Everybody's sitting there.
I don't know if anybody, did you get the letter about the grievance?
No.
Okay. According to the contract, our grievance went to step 3, which is council. According to the contract, I have to submit a letter to council through the clerk's office. I did that. According to the contract, you don't have to respond until you have a meeting. You're having a meeting now. The grievance is before you. You have to decide when you can meet with the union to discuss step 3 of the grievance. Hopefully, we can resolve the grievance at that meeting. I would like to tell you, from what I understand, it's going to be at least an hour.
Okay, you said this grievance is before
Is
us.
this what's going on up
Where's the
there?
copy of it?
Yeah, where's the grievance at?
When we have the meeting, you will get the copy.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
well,
Well, you said the grievance is before us. I thought they had handed it out.
All I had to do was tell you in step 3
Okay.
and notify you at your next council meeting. Is that
Okay.
about what's going on up the city building or up the garage? Yes. All right. It's about Bob wanting to put Kenny Mullins in the backup for the foreman. That's the grievance.
In case you don't understand what he's saying, is that when Timmy goes on vacation, the oldest man, I assume, with seniority up there, takes over.
Senior most qualified.
Most qualified.
Always
Yeah.
qualified.
Yeah, and,
Oh, senior.
No, if you read your contract, you have to go through all three. I read the contract, so I know it has to
Well, we're not
be.
going to debate this right now.
Yeah,
You know,
we cannot debate
there's
it.
a lot of
No.
things in it though, not just that. I mean, I don't
We cannot
have
debate it.
I don't
Yeah,
have it, so
okay, well,
I
I
can't tell
wasn't
you yes or
debating,
no.
I'm
but-
just saying what was,
Sag, let Kyle go ahead and finish
okay,
this.
go ahead.
The letter that Jim did receive, there's a copy in Kim's office. I didn't bring one with me because I assumed all council members would have received one. But in the letter, it states that we're going to have two, they're called witnesses, to come in. When you do a grievance, it has to be the grievant, the union members, and if we ask for witnesses, they can attend.
Okay.
The two witnesses are Johnny Wright and Chief Sagan.
Okay.
I can say to you, if you want, council can have any witnesses they want in their behalf. If they want them, they can have them. Whoever you desire.
Can I say something? I've never been involved in this process, but if we don't have in front of us what's going on, how would we even know if we wanted witnesses?
When you give the meeting, you have 10 days to respond for a meeting.
Okay.
Once we settle a meeting, I will bring all the paperwork in that you will need on our side.
So we'll have it before the meeting.
You have it at that meeting.
You get blindsided.
Then you can have another meeting and discuss everything.
Okay.
Okay.
Administration can do the same thing.
I mean, you're getting blindsided by this, right?
I'm not going to hand you the paperwork and say, here you go, and you not know you're part of the answer. The thing is, you're going to have the mayor there, you're going to have the two people, the two steps that said they disagree with the union, they'll be there. Those are the two steps. These are the people that you have to rely on of their opinion of why it made it to step 3.
So, okay.
Did they get the paper before this thing?
Nobody wanted to talk to us.
I didn't ask you that. I said, did the mayor and Bobby, did they get a paper before the end meeting?
They got the paper that June's have at the clerk's office. It says that we requested a meeting.
But did they get it before the meeting, not at the meeting? That's
When
what
we
I'm
went
asking.
to the meeting, the mayor can vouch for it, when we went to the meeting, their answer was, step 1 and step 2, we'll give you our answer in 10 days.
You got 10 days to give an answer.
And that was it, no discussion. We didn't even get to talk about why we opposed their decision. We couldn't talk to anybody. I'm hoping when we come to council, you'll listen to both sides of the story and make a good judgment on
Well,
the contract.
Bob gave in his
Yeah.
letter, he wrote, he gave you a 2-page letter that said why he made his decision.
Right? And that's what council has to do when they're done with our hearing.
Now, will we get a copy of yours and Bob's, so we'll have all this in front of us? Or no, or you and Bob are gonna be there so we can ask you questions at the meeting?
Supposedly, yes. But now we're going to run into a problem because it's 10 people. And you can't have, and me and Kyle went in this,
Yeah.
and Kyle, we're not going to debate this either. It said the grievant, the in a union rep than whoever did. They brought 4 guys into a meeting. I says, Kyle, why? It says a union rep. They had the shop steward, the other guy, their fill-in. They had 4 people there.
Oh, okay.
May I say something, Mayor?
Yes, good.
I am a union member. Mike Allen is a union member. Josh McGuire is a union member. All of us are a union member. The contract says a union member. It doesn't mean one person. It means a union member. I am a union member.
Okay, now you didn't study that. Kyle, go hold up, because you apologized, Kyle. You said you want to cancel this meeting, and I said, I want you to let it be known that I know what went on just now. You brought a cheering section in. Did you or did you not?
If you, one little A in the whole contract
wait a minute,
says
Kyle.
a union member. The rest of it says.
Hold on, time out.
Oh, thank you.
I was a union rep for 35 years. And all union rep go through a contract with a fine, Pat was a union rep for a long time. When you go through a contract, you and everyone else looks at the fine print, right or wrong.
Right.
And I looked at the fine, and all I did was bring it up, and says, Kyle, it says,
It does say A.
and A.
In one sentence of the
What's
whole
A mean?
contract, it
A
says
union
A.
rep.
The rest of
Okay,
it
let's go on.
says union representation.
Okay, explain this to them. Go ahead.
This is the problem we've been having up until step 3. I hope that we can conduct a peaceful meeting and get this resolved instead of it turning into something like this.
I
We
have a
haven't been
question.
heard. The
I'm
union
I'm a little
has
bit confused. Just real simple. If there are 6 council people, and you're going to have somebody representing, other than the council people, let's just say you're the mayor, that's 7. We're going to have the complainant as 8. A union rep is 9. If we're only allowed 10 people,
Bobby Smith is 10.
you're going to have, I mean, really and truly, I'm a union person just like everybody, you are.
Do I attend?
If we could only have 10 people, if only one person, because he is the mayor, and I'm assuming, does Bob Smith have to be there because he's their boss, right? That's 10. Now, I don't know how you want to do this, but you can't exclude a council person.
Well, if you read the contract too, you
Right.
have no witnesses till arbitration.
And then how do you do witnesses?
You have witnesses till they go to arbitration. If the council votes it down, you go to
True.
arbitration. And that's when
That's
you bring
true.
witnesses in. Because I asked Kyle, I says, this ain't a trial. Why would we have witnesses? I mean, this is
You can bring them in at any step. I think what
I don't know.
Councilman, what your answer is, because the mayor pointed out to me that it's a 10-people rule, he was allowed to conduct
I mean,
this meeting.
the
I believe
circumstances
the
have
union
got
and
to be
my
worked out.
acting president will say, we will forego the 10 days, we'll hold this off until you can have the amount of people that you want. It's not a pressing issue right now, it just needs something that needs to be resolved. As long as the foreman is okay and doesn't need a backup, there is no problem. But the day he needs a backup and the wrong person put in, the union's got a problem with it. So if you want to pass off and sit back and wait until we can have the amount of people that is required for the meeting, I say we can hold off and forego the 10 days. According to the contract, if we both agree to that stipulation, it will be documented and we can do it if we both agree.
Have you checked with the 2 people who are on that grievance? Do you know their answer and they're okay to
So
delay
this
it?
right here, what I'm saying?
Yeah.
No.
Then how can you state that?
I'm telling you what I can ask them.
Oh, okay.
And the reason we do not have a union representative is because of situations like this. If I have me and the other one, we can tell you right now what we can do. Because I'm by myself, it doesn't work.
Why?
In the past, we have had chief stewards making deals by themselves without the rank and file even knowing what's going on. And as long as I am the chief steward, that will never happen. It's gonna be me and another person as a union member witnessing everything that happens.
Two questions for you. You said, when we get this paper, we have 10 days to meet?
According to the contract, yes.
So when we receive this paper, when we re-receive it, we have 10 days to meet with you?
Yes.
Okay. Now, I've been in the union for a long time, I was representing everything else. This is how we worked it. If you have a negotiation with somebody, I was an arbitrator, okay? I went in for the police department and the fire department, me. The rest of the union stayed in another room, over there in another room. I negotiated, I left from this room and went over to that room, talked to them folks. I come back by myself over here and told you what we built. You don't drag everybody in the
That's
place.
what we did with teachers when
You're
we
right.
went on
That's
strike.
what you
Same
do.
thing, right.
So what is
Our
the
union
problem?
members went in
But
with
you
that
don't
board.
drag everybody in here.
No.
They are union
Wait a minute,
representatives.
you don't drag everybody, you're not putting a show on. I
What's the
mean,
problem with having more than one union member in on these meetings?
then you got 5 people talking at one time, 6 people talking.
No.
No, if you
No,
conduct
my-
a meeting, like the mayor does at council, you conduct a meeting, you say, whoa, he's got the floor, just like he does. Isn't that how you run it? I see no problem in having more than one union member here.
He can't talk.
Yes, he can.
Under normal circumstances, I would say yes, that would be fine. I wouldn't have any problem with how many union members. But my contention is this, if we can only allow 10 people in a room,
But like I
and
said,
if you had, and I'll be honest with you, as a union member, if you have your facts straight and you know what is against that contract, you really and truly shouldn't need even 2. You're the head steward, and you have whoever
rep.
is filed that grievance for.
Right.
There's 2 names on that grievance.
Is there
right?
2 names? I mean, I don't know.
I don't
But,
want to be put in a position to make a decision without talking to the rank and file.
Yeah, but you're not.
I mean, I don't know.
You want me to negotiate with you people by myself standing here, when I cannot do it without knowing how my people feel. And by having at least 2 of us here, they know that what I'm saying and what he's saying is the truth instead of being lied to.
okay.
Is there a way that we can teleconference in?
There's not enough people that are up to
I don't
the
know.
21st century.
I mean,
I
I
can do
understand what
it.
you're saying,
I'm
but
sure
these are
George-
dire
You
circumstances.
see what
is
happens,
what I'm
2
saying.
and 2,
Set it up here in
you
2
would go
separate
in and
rooms.
talk to the village, and then you would go back and talk to your membership.
That's the way I've always done it.
Okay.
But you can't
But
have,
ever since I've been in
a ton
charge,
of
there's always
people
been
going
only
in.
2 of them. When we
you take your 2
negotiated-
representatives, send them
When we
in there.
negotiated the contract,
Okay.
2 of them, all the time.
Okay, I
Now
have a
you got a
suggestion if this is one way to do it, if it's okay. If the 6 council people, because this has to come in front of us, correct? I've never done it I've always done it on it. If you are presenting this grievance, and you have you and your other council, and you and your other rep, and then the grievant, and we hear all of your facts, then you leave, and then we have Bill,
Discussion.
Bob, and the mayor,
Come in?
and we hear all their facts. Then we as council people will discuss it all, and then if we have questions, we can go back and forth. That way, we're not abusing that 10 rule, because God forbid,
It sounds like a good idea.
cannot do that. I mean, that's just a suggestion that I'm throwing out there, since you really want more than, and it's your prerogative, I understand what you're saying. If that would be acceptable to everybody here.
That's what I was going to just propose also, so I'm.
Right,
Of course, I'm not all the legal issues of unions,
Well, let's make a
but
decision right now, and
I'm
let's
okay with that.
move on
Yeah.
with the meeting.
What, Ernie would need to be in the room
before
all
we
the
make
time,
it-
right?
Oh, yeah, he did Peter all,
I
100%
mean,
for that.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah.
there's 7.
But as he said, you got 10 days from when he gives you the notice to respond. Right or wrong?
Right.
Right, so you guys discuss, when you want to have a meeting, once you get that letter, we have one meeting in May, we can do, right?
When are we getting the letter?
I don't know.
I mean,
I just asked that question.
when does the 10 days start? Is it starting tonight?
the letter that I gave to the clerk's office, in the contract, it states that once council is advised that the union is step 3 grievance, once you are notified, you have 10 days to respond according to the contract.
So
we've
you
been
notified us
today.
tonight,
One,
we have
two,
10 days. Okay, to set up an appointment
To
to meet
set
with
up a
y'all.
meeting with the
Okay.
union.
All right.
9,
It's just-
and that'd be the
That's
4th,
what you guys did.
4th of May. That's 10 days counting the weekends.
I wasn't paying attention, but yes, 10 days. If it's a holiday, it goes to the following Monday. That's in the contract. If it starts on a Sunday, it goes to the following Monday. That's in the contract.
So you can't count Sundays, Mr. Hatch?
Huh?
You can't count Sundays.
If it starts on a Sunday, you can't count that day.
I started today, or the
Yeah.
29th,
Tuesday.
which is a Wednesday.
Yes,
Am I all right then?
you're right.
How about nice, simple, easy next Tuesday? How about that? We can probably get the letter
Well, if you're gonna-
before then, I theorize, right?
Yeah, that's-
I mean, the letter already is in the building. Granted, we can't get to the letter, but we're in the building also. We should be able to get that letter hopefully within a day or two. One might surmise. I mean,
All the letter says
shouldn't be difficult.
is the union is requesting that you have a hearing with us, step 3. That's all it says.
That's all
And
really-
it says that there's 2 people that are going to be attending
Okay.
other than union representation and the grievance.
Okay, now, as far as rest of council, when we get this and we go to this type of meeting, this will be my first time something like this, I don't know,
Yeah, me
those are
too.
more on council longer. This meeting we're gonna have is just for us to obtain information. No decision happens
No.
that evening, correct?
No decision.
No.
You
Just for
have
us to
10
get
days.
information, and then we set a separate meeting later to discuss information and how to proceed. Is that correct? Is that the process?
What he said, he says you got 10 days to have a meeting with him.
Yeah.
Then you have the meeting and decide what the hell you're gonna do.
Yes.
You don't have another 10 days.
Well, do you have to decide that day, or do you have like a few days or a week to go over information that you received that night to research a little bit and then to make a decision?
I think the best thing to do is, it sounds like you all need a copy of the contract.
Yes.
It all says in the contract exactly how the grievance procedure is to proceed. If you would like, tell me where you want them. I will provide everyone with a contract.
Okay.
What I would like tonight, according to the mayor, he wants me to speed things up. We just need to set a date so the union can meet with council and discuss it.
4th, he said, Mike said the 4th.
May 4th.
May 4th?
Oh,
What
Monday?
time?
May 4th?
That'd be Monday.
Monday
May the 4th is a Monday.
at 6 o'clock?
That's not 10 days though, is it?
If you count it, I did, yeah.
It's within 10 days.
Yeah. So, do we have to render a decision on the 4th? Thank you. Okay.
10 this would make it on a Sunday, so it'd be 4th, Monday.
At 6 o'clock. Monday at 6 o'clock.
Monday at 6
At 6,
o'clock.
at 6 o'clock?
Okay.
All right, we're gonna have 6 council members and Ernie here, right?
6 PM, Monday.
I'm talking close.
Yes.
Six
Have to have it.
6 council members plus Ernie here.
Have to have it.
And you're gonna have 2 people here. Right?
2 union members
No,
plus.
I'm going to have, according to the letter that I sent you, I'm going to have the acting president of our union, the chief steward, the alternate, and the 2 people that are in the grievance.
That's over 10. You're
We can have
done.
everything at one time, would be too much.
You're done. You
So
need,
you might have to have them come out and, you know, shuffle in and shuffle out.
That'll be fine. We can do that.
Okay.
My plan was to present the union's part of it first. Then the person that has the grievance, they come in and do their part. So I can be by myself when I'm in the hall. They've already got copies of everything I'm going to say.
Okay.
And I'd like to add that when I show up in the meeting on the 4th at 6 o'clock, I will present you with every piece of paper that has been given to the union so far. Bob's letter, the grievances, the prior grievances, every answer for everything, even my answers will be on there that day. Everything you asked for will be there.
Can I say something at all here? Are are you saying that this is the next regular meeting here?
Yes.
Is that what you're saying? Even though they did not get notified?
I thought that's what
They
it
didn't get
said.
notified because I followed my part and
Do you want
presented it
to go
to.
get all that and then get it all thrown out and start over? Or you want to compromise? It's up to you.
What?
There's an issue because
Just
I didn't
hold on
file
a
it
minute.
as a
I have
class
enough
action.
time too here, okay?
I didn't file
You
it
have
as.
enough time. You guys hear the other side.
Okay, well, we
This
understand.
is how we get treated, right here.
Okay,
6
We
o'clock
understand.
on Monday.
Yeah,
we understand. Thank you.
the 4th.
Thank you. Okay, 4th at 6.
All right. Okay, you want to take over now?
Yeah.
All right.
It's supposed to be 10 days after.
Hey, while we're discussing dates, are we going to have a meeting? We're going to have a meeting in May too, right?
That meeting is supposed to be 10 days after the next regular scheduled meeting. That was wrong when he said, you look in the contract. So that was wrong.
Oh,
See, you hear one side, we're gonna let Bob speak on the other side of it. Because, I mean, and there's always two sides to every story.
Oh, I know that.
You know, so Bob,
Hey, I've been on the other side before.
you want, okay.
I was a supervisor out of the union, I understand.
Can we get a motion on the executive session for personnel?
Are we done with everything else?
But we'll come back.
You want to do this first?
When?
We'll come back.
I'll tell you.
You mean,
Can I have a motion for an executive session?
yeah, because I will now, so that I could,
What if we don't do like all these other sessions now, then go back
Yes.
to regular, I mean, regular planning won't take that long, we'll get the committees,
Yeah,
that's about it.
let's
I mean,
finish
You
up
know
the
where we're
regular
at?
meeting.
All right,
hold on.
Go to the executive.
but we're in the committees now,
Okay,
anyway.
let's get those done.
Yeah.
Get
There's
those
no
out,
need to
get out
guys
of
here
here.
to wait till we come back out for committee reports.
Okay,
Jack Lipper, where's Jackson?
Got any finance, has he set up any finance meetings or anything in the future?
Nope.
Nothing there?
provide us with the budget. Any committee chairman have anything?
I have nothing.
Yes, George.
I have a few things. One thing to pass along to you and Bob a little bit, something that you probably be aware of, if not, make sure we are aware of it. I think is a very likely grant opportunity. It's in reference to the Coronavirus Act. It's the Coronavirus Emergency Supplemental Funding Program. There's 170 awards, and they have about $200 million to give in that program. It can be used for police, EMS. It can be used for even wages, overtime wages, equipment, due to various issues and things about the year. I can even view it as maybe a possibility of maybe getting part of the second ambulance with some of that money, or covering some wages of personnel to make the budget work, and all kinds of other things. There's a lot of opportunities with that. I don't know what makes sense, but I would encourage you and Bob together, maybe talk to Jim Frehall, talk to Joe, see what makes sense, what the needs are, how to craft something that makes some sense. The due date, I think, is end of May on that one, but that looks very promising. And then a couple things from economic development. There's a webinar series tomorrow and Thursday I'll be attending. It's a 1 hour type of thing. If anybody wants to get on it, you can. It's free. It's from Kansas State University's Technical Assistant to Brownfield program. And it's all on brownfield grant funding and about programs, how to start crafting, how to start working on it, because nature of recessions and little downturns is that there will be an increase in grant funding and in grant programs and opportunities. So now is an opportune time for us to get our ducks in a row and start organizing, and I think it would be, we recognize a major need downtown for a multi-purpose brownfield area-wide planning grant about the whole entire downtown to really focus on that. And this could be a good start in that process. If you cannot attend that, I can send you guys a link a few days after it's done. There will be a recording of it. And there are other recordings at Kansas State University's TAB program of all kinds of other events that are very, very good, quite profitable. I've actually had a few of the major people from this organization come to Mingo in the past. They have seen our downtown, they know some of the issues, and they are a great resource as far as how to go about this process. So I'll be in on that tomorrow and Thursday, and I can report back at next month's meeting about that. In addition, the CCLR, which is kind of like TAB, but another part of the United States, they're doing a webinar in May called Catch the Wave, where it's about how to get yourself planned and ready to go for when new funding opportunities come. And nature of right now in Congress is a big spending spree Whether that's right or wrong, that could be your personal political type of things. But my thought is, hey, if money's out there, we as Mingo gotta look and see what's out there and craft our story and to craft our needs to meet that. We can't go out and say, here's our need, let's find sources. Let's look and see what the sources are and then craft and be a little artistic with our story to make it meet, to find ways and opportunities to help make the village better. And that'll be my motivation as I go about these type of things. And I'll report back to council, the mayor, and also to Bob about those type of things. But just heads up on those, that's what I'll be working on. And I will send a couple emails out to the committee as well as to you and Bob about that, to keep you guys abreast of what I'm working on there. And hopefully to get some major balls rolling. Because I think the planning grant, though I don't recall it that more, it's more of a multi-purpose grant to get a general idea and vision will go a long way to attract other money. We're already in an opportunity zone, we're already in enterprise zone, we're already CRA. We have all kinds of things lined up to make us attractive. We just gotta have a vision and a plan, and then go out there and start attacking what we can do to help fix up a little bit of downtown, and then move forward perhaps in other type ventures and other type of brownfield type of things. With that, I turn the floor back to you, Mayor.
Thank you, Boris.
Thanks, Joe.
Very well. Anybody else have anything? Seniors, I told you before that place even opens up, I want to get it clean and disinfected and stuff. I have somebody in mind. If anybody else has anybody in mind to do this,
For what?
disinfect and clean the senior building before they even think about it.
Oh.
I know Apollo does, I think Apollo does stuff like that.
Yeah,
I
they
don't
do.
know what their price is or anything like that, I just know they do it.
Yeah. But, yeah, I want to do that, and I hope there is some money in there to get it done. Even this building, at least once a month, maybe, getting it clean, real good. So with that, anybody else have any questions? Yes?
I'd like to make a motion that we reduce our water bill for the month of May from $30 to $10. Until we said
That service charge.
service charge from $30 to $10 for the month of May.
So what are we gonna do? Just have people deduct $20 from their payment?
No, on the bill, it's the bill.
The bill itself.
The bill is 30.
Hold up.
Yeah, it's a 30 that we charge them.
It'll be on the bill, we'll just reduce it $20.
Okay.
The bill's not gone out, right? Yeah.
What's that?
The bills haven't gone out yet, right?
Well, they have, and if they have, we'll push it back to next month.
Yeah, they're done this month.
You know, it's gonna be in place for a
So we'll put it
while.
for next month.
So we'll make it for
June.
June?
June's fine.
They just did it today. They just did it.
There's just bills today?
Yeah.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
For the month of June.
That was to what?
Reduce
I
it.
don't, I thought you seconded it.
Roll call.
Oh, either, you didn't hear me, whatever.
Okay.
I heard you, Adam.
Cramblett, Cramblett,
Yeah.
What happened?
Fitzgerald,
Yes.
Aaron,
Yeah.
Bertel,
Yes.
Irvin.
Yes.
Peeler.
Yes.
Okay.
What's the other thing we had to make a motion on? Is there something else?
Executive session.
Was it something else?
There's something else too.
It was something else. I didn't write it down. What was it, Bobby?
I don't remember, Jack.
Alzheimer's.
You know, I know this was tough, people, but we needed to meet. You know,
Let's see the faces too.
yeah. And I don't know how other communities or people do it.
They're doing teleconferences in Collins.
But they,
Steubenville, Toronto, Wintersville, just about everybody.
Can I ask a question, Satch? You counted, today's the 28th, right? That's when we got this thing, the 28th? That's what this thing says here, this paper I just got. It says the 28th. We have 10 days from the 28th?
no.
I'll explain all that.
I went
as
to
get in
Bill.
there.
He'll explain it.
I'll explain it as soon as I get in there.
Well, we might change the date we got on his calendar.
What, I got the 4th.
Yeah, but he said if a holiday falls on a Sunday, we can't use that. You counted,
A holiday on Sunday.
Yeah, he's gone. Are we gonna do an executive session?
no.
What the hell holidays on
Palm
He's
Sunday?
wrong on this, guys. This is why, if you listen to me, he's wrong on this.
Okay, never mind, Mike.
Is May 4th a holiday?
Never mind, Mike. I'm losing my shoes.
Okay, I thought maybe I was losing
No, I'm
mine.
cracking up, Mike.
Is that all, George? You got?
Yeah, I thought there was like a second thing like Jack mentioned, but I can't find it.
I can't remember either.
There was something though,
Go
wasn't there?
ahead, Coach, you can, where do you,
Economic Development, George, and, how about the Rules Committee? Does anybody have any meetings on that, or
We haven't
come up with
lately.
anything?
We haven't lately, Mayor. No, last meetings we had, we were trying to get, some sort of structure to, what we want to put together. We have tons of rules here at the village, it's just a matter of what exactly we want to put together. If there's any new rules or ordinances, and then, for this, what is our goal as far as putting together like a new rules summary or rules of council type summary, and then just a matter of what we want to pull in. Like I said, we have plenty of rules, but is it more on the conduct side, or like we said, a couple other things, like we made a rule about the one meeting a month in throughout the summertime. We can include that in if that's something we're going to look at. We just date it for this year, or it's something we renew every year, or what.
That's what it is, to pick the May date for a
Yeah.
council meeting.
I just, yeah. That's what it was,
But yeah, we need to.
That's what we're forgetting.
I'll be talking to the committee to get meetings scheduled and start bringing that back to light and try to make more progress on that.
No, just remember, we were at the same time.
Oh.
Thank you, Adam.
okay, so what's going on with the, meeting in May? Is it just one in May, or what?
It's up to council.
Huh?
It's up to council.
Oh, okay, I heard Madam say something about it. Are we going with regular meetings, in May?
If you want to do this one meeting, I would recommend the 19th, this way there's
In between.
right in the middle. This would have 2 weeks off, we meet, and then 2 weeks off, we meet.
Okay,
The
on the
19th would be right in the
19th?
middle. If it's okay with everybody else's schedule, we're changing things up here.
19th?
Yeah.
Yeah, I make that in the form of motion.
Second,
Second,
7 PM.
okay.
Yeah. Oh, wait, is 7 okay, or the schedules, I know? 7
7.
o'clock fine? You like 6?
Yeah, I love 6.
Huh? Is it CIX or 7?
I love 6.
Well, I don't, it's like,
You have a problem with 6 o'clock? or-
It's hard for me to get here, but I mean, I can. I made it
It's up to
today,
you guys.
as long as I'm able to leave work at 5. But if I get held over, I may be a minute or two late.
Ain't you the boss?
No, unfortunately.
All right, so what are we going with?
Not here, or not there.
6 or 7, 6:30?
Okay.
6:30 would work.
Huh?
I don't have a problem with
let's
6:30.
do 6:30, be a little different.
All right, we'll go in the middle, 6:30.
Okay.
If you can make sure that gets in the paper, because that's a different time for us.
I do have a question about that date you set on the 4th. Start today.
I will.
Well, let's wait till Bob
Hold up,
speaks on
hold
it, yeah.
up, hold up,
Jesus Christ, I just, oh,
hold up, hold up.
never mind.
Oh, wait, it's not the middle, because we got the, June is the middle month, but it's close to the middle. We'll be fine.
Yeah, because we're meeting on the 4th, even though that's a different meeting.
Yeah. And June will be
I
the
start on
16th.
29th.
10 days.
Okay, I think that's
Yeah,
it.
you should, yeah.
Herrick, roll call.
Roll call.
Are we going?
On which one?
The 19th at 6:30.
How about the other one? Didn't do roll call on that one, did we?
I don't think we,
On the 4th.
I don't think we voted on the 4th one, on the 4th just yet. We could hold
Monday
off on
the
that.
4th, 6 o'clock.
Okay, May 8th? You say 10 days?
I said, yeah, maybe.
Well, let's hold off on that till we talk to Bob on.
In executive
on that.
session.
Executive session. But the 19th, the motion's on the floor, there was a second for the 19th. Next regular meeting, 19th,
I
6:30.
made a
May
motion on the
4th is less than a
water.
week away.
We never voted on that.
Yeah, we did.
Did we?
Yeah.
Yeah, we did. No
You voted yes?
Action.
Isn't May 4th less than a week away? I mean, I might be looking at my calendar wrong, but May 4th is less than a week away.
Yeah.
Within 10.
It's what?
It's less
It's
than
less than 1 week away.
It said 12 days, didn't it?
Right.
Listen up, hold up.
That's my
The
point.
19th, you guys voted on right now. That's the next scheduled.
That's what we're trying to vote on.
Yes,
Yeah, May 4th.
yes.
That's a week, yeah.
Did you roll call,
Herrick,
Yes.
Bertel.
Yes.
Irvin,
Yes.
Keeler,
Yes.
Cramblett.
Yes.
Fitzgerald.
Yes.
Is that something that needs voted on?
It's nice to have it.
That doesn't really need voted on. We just make our time when we meet, that's that.
It's nice having it, you know, and it's probably overkill, but it's very overkill, I guess.
I make a motion, we go to executive session.
Second.
Or, I don't know.
Personnel.
Personnel. Whatever.
I second.
Personnel. Roll call.
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Everybody, yes.